Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my home. We are going to dismantle my kitchen now. We're gonna I have the hiccups for some reason. We're gonna take out all the cabinets. I'm gonna show you guys phase one, phase two. Excuse the hiccups, I can't get rid of it. Phase one, phase two, phase three of we're gonna basically tear down a lot of stuff in our kitchen. So phase one is going to be this area, the top cabinets, the lower cabinets, and then I'm going to show you guys what else I'm taking out. Uh, so phase two will be the pantry and this wall. We're going to be removing this wall. This one by itself is going to be a big challenge because I do have an air duct return there. This wall is going to be fully removed and it's going to be reduced to about 6 inches or 8 inches. However, I could squeeze an air return there, and then this all these cabinets will be coming out to include the island. Islands coming out too. So we're gonna be basically putting a 7-foot island here, which is gonna stretch from there all the way to here, which means this whole thing is gonna be removed totally. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to remove this. I'm going to try to save some of the drywall because I need to do some drywall work there. So, I'm going to repurpose as much drywall as I can so I don't have to spend money just buying drywalls. If I can't repurpose, then we'll figure it out from there. But for now, I'm going to take these out and the base, and that will be phase one, and we'll go from there. So let's do it. guys, so I took the box around the whole HVAC and exhaust thing out, and I consulted with a friend of mine, and can't move them. So I shouldn't have moved the box to begin with, but I moved it. Then, yeah. But it's not a total loss yet. But what we're gonna lose is let me turn the camera. I was planning to move this around. I was planning to delete this and reroute it, which is not gonna work. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a pantry going all the way to the top here, semi-functional, I should say, not fully functional, semi-functional, and then we're gonna figure out how everything works. Basically, we're gonna lose a full-size cabinet here, like a 24-inch cabinet here. So this whole thing is shifting about 6 inches this way, if you can see my lining over there. And I'm only able to put a 9-inch spice cabinet at the bottom and a 9-inch wall cabinet on top. That's the only thing I could do at this point. So yeah, disappointing, but let me show you guys what I'm gonna do. This is the pantry. This is a 30-inch pantry that I'm gonna destroy. Basically, I'm gonna cut up to here. I'm gonna basically cut down whatever. I'm gonna cut up to here just so the exhaust fluid can fit in here, and then I'm gonna box it up. The HVAC piece is gonna be in here. I'm gonna box that up. So I'm gonna lose pretty much half of this pantry to the fluid, and then I'm gonna basically make the other half useful some way, somehow. So I gotta figure that part out too. So anyways, I'm gonna get started on cutting these. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna cut this, and it's gonna be it's gonna be cringe, to be honest with you. It's gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. So, and we're gonna use our trusty jigsaw to do that. So let me get it prepped, then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I taped up the area that I'm going to be cutting all this, so I don't want the paint to chip, so I'm going to go as carefully as I can. I'm going to use a jigsaw, so it's not going to be the cleanest or the prettiest cut. So I'm going to do my best to go as straight as I can. It's going to be a pain in the butt to do, but hey, it's got to be done. So I'm already set up. Let's start cutting. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna call it a night tonight. I do have to cut the bottom, but I'm not gonna do it right here. I'm actually gonna take the cabinet here and actually cut that piece here, only because I want the least amount of movement when I push it in place, because this thing is super fragile, and it's very wobbly. It's lost all its stability because I punched so much holes in this. This is the side vent for the return. This is the for the kitchen light switch. There's going to be an outlet here as well for electric outlet. I may put two. I may put one up here and one down here, just because we're gonna try to use this half of the pantry as a useful part of it. The rest of it, the other half, it's almost useless, to be honest with you. I'm going to be able to use about this much of it, which I don't even know what I'm going to do with that. So this part, it's rendered useless. this part is the only part that it could be useful for whatever we're gonna put in here. But I'm gonna call it a night tonight. Then I'm gonna finish this tomorrow. So stay tuned. All right, guys. So it's 9:30 at night. I'm almost done with this stupid cabinet pantry that I'm trying to put in place. So let me show you guys what I did. So I built these little frames inside where this whole thing is gonna slide over the HVAC and the um, exhaust chute and all that stuff. And then there is electricity outlets here that's gonna connect to those boxes, which they're gonna go in here. The junction box there, everything's set in place. This is the light switch where I'm not gonna put any yet, but it's gonna go here. Right now, I'm just gonna slide it in there for now. Um, but we're gonna push this back in place, and we're gonna see how this looks. So hopefully, this whole thing fits as it should, and I could use pretty much about 40% of this pantry. I'm losing about 60% of it. I'm gonna try to use about 40% of it, which is, better than nothing, I guess. So let's put this back. Let's see how it looks. So let me show you guys the issue I kind of overlooked. So the boxes, I this is supposed to go in the wall, but then I kind of didn't quite measure quite correctly. So I need to cut down here, and there's a piece of wood there that I need to cut through for this to basically push through. So I'm not going to do it tonight. Um, I'm going to do it tomorrow because it's way, way, way past my bedtime, and kids are going crazy right now. So we'll come back tomorrow and finish the job. So let's do it. All right, guys. So I need to make that little return fitting kind of work for the new vent that I put into the side of the pantry. So what I have here is a piece of galvanized sheet metal that I'm gonna measure. Then I have to cut, and I'm hoping the idea in my head is gonna work. There's a 4-inch gap between the front of the cabinet pantry to the return vent itself, so I need to have like an indentation of 4 inches. So whatever measurement I do, everything has to have 4 inches. So that's the bend point that I'm gonna have, so it could match up with the side of the cabinet. That way I could screw it in into the side of the cabinet, and that way the vent cover will go over it, and that I can put a filter on there. I'm going to try to make it as airtight as possible if I can. I had a 20 by 20, but it was the same concept. It was just like a little it was a 2020 vent going into an 8-inch by, I want to say, 10-inch, but I actually made the hole a little bit bigger by at least 4 inches. So now it's about 12 inches. So it allows more airflow. This way I could have the system breathe better. From what I've read and what I've heard from the HVAC people, what they had put before, it was choking the unit. So it wasn't functioning efficiently, especially when you put the filter on there. It makes it louder and makes it work harder. So I hoping by that little giving it a little bit more opening, I'm actually allowing more airflow, so make the system function better. So but we'll see. Let me get the measurement going. I'm gonna draw it up on this thing, and once I draw it up, I'll come back and show you guys how I drew it up. Maybe I'm doing it wrong or right. You guys will be the expert, will be you guys. I'm just doing this for my first time. So let's do this. Let's draw this up, then I'll get back to you guys. All right, guys. So I made the measurement, so it might be a little bit hard to see. I use this black crayon pencil that I have. So it might not be visible to you, but I could see it fine on my end. So the camera can't really show it. Um, this right here is where the vent opening is. This is the 4-inch gap that I need to basically bend it in. Bending it is going to be the challenging part. and we'll see how I'm gonna do that. So I have an idea, but I don't know if I can execute it or not. But we'll see. But anyways, I'm gonna start cutting this out. This is the waste area. I don't need this part at all, so that's gonna be fully waste. What I need is this part. So I'm gonna start from the outside, cut everything in, and go from there. And wear gloves, guys, because there's gonna be a lot of sharp edges. So let's do it. All right, guys. So I just made the box. As you guys saw, it came apart, but it's okay because I used the rivet to basically secure the corners. Now let's do a fitment test, see if this thing fit. As you saw, I just bend these out because this actually gonna bend back into the channel. So cross your fingers, guys. I'm crossing mine. I don't know if this is gonna work, but let's go. Let's go check it out. And if it works, I'm gonna basically rivet it in as well to basically make it a lifetime thing. So let's go put this in. All right, so I need to make slight modification. Basically, you see the corners right here. So it's okay. I could take these rivets out, and same thing with this. Take the rivets out, kind of, you know, expand it out a little bit. But in theory, it works. And my measurements were correct from the top, but maybe I screwed up from the bottom. Worst case, I'll just buy another sheet and make another one. This was, I guess, is a test. But yeah, I got a huge gap here, which I don't like. But yeah, I'm just gonna get another sheet, make it better, and then I'm gonna come back and show you guys the new one that I made. So let's do that. All right, guys. So I did the final cut for the vent return. Um, I had to go about a quarter inch bigger on these. So right here it's gonna get cut. Right here is gonna get sliced, and then they're just gonna get bent in. This side is gonna get screwed in right here into the old one, and the top is gonna get screwed in to the old one, as you can see right there. So that's the old one. This is the new one. That's just gonna get screwed in. But overall, it's gonna have more opening. It is deeper than the old one, so it should have a lot more airflow. But other than that, I'm not gonna screw it in right now because the cabinet is gonna have a second panel go over it. So before I do any more cutting or anything like that, I'm gonna put the second panel in before I do the final cut to that. That will make sure everything fits. Then I will screw everything in. So let's wait until that happens. Then we'll come back and finish this off. So as the kitchen renovation progresses, I tend to use more tools and stuff that I need to use. And one of the things I need to do here, let me show you guys what I've done so far. So the cabinet that went over the venting system, the duct system, and the exhaust, it's all set up. The next thing I set up was the pantry. And once once the pantry is set up, the next thing I need to do is put the cabinet up right next to the pantry, which goes over the fridge. The fridge will go in the center. Now, you're going to see this contraption here. What is this? Now, because these cabinets are sort of heavy and I don't really have anybody to help me to put these cabinets up, what I made was a jig. Now, if you remember this is my tire jack. The the tire jack is now powered by a drill, and as you can see, it moves up and down. So I made this thing to go up and down with the drill, and I built this little square thing which is tied with a strap, so it can kind of be as my second hand. And basically, how I'm gonna use it is basically I'm gonna move it in position where I need it to be, and basically screw the cabinet in, and then lower this down, and basically that's it. So without further ado, let me do this because I really want to get this cabinet up, and I don't want to waste any more time. But the tough, not really tough thing is I need to put the cabinet on top of this. The cabinet is not that heavy for me to lift up, so I'm just gonna put something protective over this, so I don't want to scratch up the cabinet. And once I do that, should be a piece of cake, and hopefully nothing will fall on my head or I won't break the cabinet, I guess. So let's do it. So I just broke the gear right here where I had it welded. It kind of broke off now right here. I just need to re-weld this thing real quick and I'll be right back. All right, so this thing got welded. Now I gotta try to see if this thing's gonna raise it up. Oh boy. All right, so I think I am where I need to be. Now I'm gonna use my clamps, the Blaco clamps that I showed you guys, the cabinet clamps. Clamp this to the side of this, keep it level, then basically mount it to the back of the where I have wood studs put in. So let me do that real quick, guys. All right, guys, let me show you guys. So now the clamps are holding this in place. I'm gonna show you guys, see how it's right on the dot right there. And these clamps, they work awesome. I love these clamps. This whole thing is supported by this jig right here. Um, the reason you see this is so tall, this is the only tall piece that I have to do on my own. The rest are not going to be this tall, so I'm going to basically kind of cut this a little bit shorter because my tire jack only goes up 23 inches off the ground. So that's the highest I could go. And then I have to fix this shenanigans right there because now it's like super wobbly. But let me screw everything in, and then once everything's screwed in, I'm gonna take the clamps off and hope for the best and nothing's gonna fall. So let me do that, be right back. It's up. So now I'm gonna have to put the next pantry in, but that one's gonna need a little bit more assembly, which I'm gonna basically make another video for the assembly. But that one's gonna need an assembly, and I'm gonna put it right next to this, make sure everything fit, then screw everything in. So let's do it. 2 minutes. What's the rush? All right, so the first thing we want to do is we put the front trim on the floor facing down, and then you're going to determine which side is the bottom and the top. So in this case, this one is the top of the pantry, that's the bottom, because the bottom has a larger door, the top has the smaller door. And then when you're going to slide in the sides, you want to make sure the kick toe area is going to be facing down, basically, because that's the bottom of the cabinet. You're going to slide it in going towards the bottom of the cabinet. So let's put the first panel in, then we're going to put the second panel in. And this is a two-person job, guys. So if you have help, that'd be great. If you don't have help, you could use some clamps, I guess. So let's do it. All right, so both sides are in. And the reason I say we want to do this the opposite way of what the instruction is saying, because these shelves have to sit into these grooves right here. And because they don't, you can't squeeze them through here, this is why I'm doing this last. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the center. And make sure it fits all the way in, because we want clearance there. If it doesn't get cleared, the bottom piece is not gonna slide in. You see how this is cleared and this is not? That means there's something stuck at the bottom. It's not letting it sit. So I think that was it. There you go. So now this is sitting in correctly. This side's in. And then I'm gonna put this side in, and then I'm gonna slide the back piece in. No. Yes. Okay, now this is the back piece. The back piece has this little groove on top right there. That goes to the bottom of the cabinet, because the last shelf at the bottom also has a groove that part needs to slide in. So make sure you're doing that correctly. All right, so this is the last shelf. This is the groove I was talking about. This is going to sit all the way in the back. And slide this in. Make sure it snaps in place. And that's it. And you just put the screws in, and this whole thing is assembled. Easy peasy. Thank you.
That was a lot faster than the first time.
Yeah. So this is the third one we're assembling. So now I got it down, so I know how to assemble these. It's a lot easier. But here, let me show you guys the first two. That's the first one that I had to cut for the HVAC, and this is one of them that I assembled yesterday. So there you go. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna put the screws in. and stand it up and test it out for wobbling and all that stuff. So let's do it. There you go, guys, and that's how you assemble it. Next will be the doors, door hinges, which I'm going to show you guys later on how to install the doors. Um, but pretty easy, pretty quick. It doesn't take, should take you about 10 to 15 minutes max to put the whole thing together. So fairly easy process, as you saw. So I'm gonna go put it in its place and we'll see how it looks. All right, guys, so the cabinet is installed. The top cabinet is also installed. So as you can see, we have two pantry cabinets and a top of the fridge cabinet. I know that might look short, but it's not. Actually, the fridge will actually fit in there. That's about 6 feet away from the ground. So, but I want to show you guys something that you'll never really know until you start installing straight cabinets. So if you can see, I put a laser guide going across the top to make sure everything's symmetrical, everything's straight. So everything's straight, right? But look at this. See the gap? See how it looks like it's leaning forward? It's not really leaning forward because I did put a level, and with the level, this thing is straight. See? I don't know if I can show you guys. So yeah, with the level, this thing's straight, but it looks like it's leaning forward, but it's not. And only because the walls are super crooked, the ground is super crooked, everything's crooked in this house, and that's because of settling. So once the house settles, everything shifts. Here, I'll show you guys another thing right here. Like you see the gap right there, all the way to the top, and there's a gap on the bottom, so it's like bowed. This thing right here. Uh, so the walls are not always 100% straight. So that's a given with every old house because of settlement and all that stuff. So it's um, when you go straight to the top and you're not using drywall, everything's noticeable. Everything's going to be noticeable. So, but the installation, you have to go back and measure and make sure everything's lined up, everything's correct. Take your time. This is why it's taking me a long time to just put these 4 cabinets in, or 3 cabinets, or whatever. Takes me at least a couple of hours to make sure everything is leveled. You want to make sure everything's leveled, everything's symmetrical, because you, once it's done and screwed in, you don't want to unscrew it and take it out and redo the whole thing all over again, because you're going to damage walls, you're going to damage this, and you're going to damage that. So try to avoid all that stuff. But anyways, let me know what you think. This is how you assemble a pantry cabinet for Apex, and how you install cabinets on top of the pantries, I should say, not just cabinets, pantry. Cabinets come next on the next video. This is where I'll be redoing this whole area and installing new cabinets there. We have another assembly of RTA cabinets, but this one's special. This one is the farmhouse sink assembly. Now, this one's a little bit different because with the farmhouse sinks, they come in different various sizes and shapes and all that. So the cabinets that you get as an RTA cabinet, they're not already cut. You have to cut them to fit the sink that you're getting to install inside of it. Now, there's few process that goes into this. So it's not just, oh, you cut it and you put the sink in. No, you have to put braces in, which are not included in the kit. These are separate pieces you have to add, and they're typically just 2x4s. They're nothing else than two by fours. But before you get even to that area, there's several ways of doing it. You could assemble the cabinet first, then you could cut out the area where the sink is gonna sit. Um, I'm gonna do it differently. I already have the measurement of the sink. My sink is 10 inches deep. Um, I mean, overall depth of the sink. That's the outside dimension, not the inside. The inside is only about 9.5, 9 inches or 9.5 inches deep because there's a thick layer of uh, clay or whatever. These are called fire baked sinks. Um, so they're not porcelain. They are actually they might be porcelain. I'm not sure what they are. Anyways, so uh, it's 10 inches, but I'm going to do 10 inch and 1/8. And why, you might ask, I'm going to do the 1/8? Well, I'm doing the 1/8 because I need some space since these are going to be pretty much under mount. You want some space just for air, okay? And when I say air is when we put a countertop over it, you want some areas for silicone to kind of penetrate in between the sink and the countertop, so that will prevent any water or anything splashing inside of the cabinet if you're washing dishes and all that stuff. So um, you could do 1/16. I'm doing 1/8. Um, just to give me enough room. It won't even be noticeable, but it's just that much room that I'm gonna need to basically uh, put that silicone on there when the countertop's installed. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the front piece of the cabinet, it will look like this. Okay, this is what it will look like. Now, the top of the cabinet is this part right here, and this is already 6 inches in. So we need to do about 4 inches and 1/8 down. So that will give me um, about 3 inches of lip right across from here. So that's perfect. That's enough for me to do what I need to do. And this is a little warped, but I'm not worried about it because once you get everything assembled, everything just kind of hugs each other up. So before I start anything, I'm gonna tape this up. And the reason I want to tape this up is because I don't want to bang this up. I don't want to scratch it because this is the only one I have. So I want to make sure everything's taped up, and just to prevent getting it all screwy and scratched up and all that stuff. So let me tape this up and I'll be right back. So this is all taped up. Now this is the line this is the part that I needed to be cut out, which means when I draw the line, I want the cut to be above this line right here, okay? Like right here. I want it to be this side to be cut out. Now, I'm gonna do something unorthodox because they definitely don't recommend this, but I'm gonna do it because the accuracy portion of it. I'm gonna cut most of this out, actually some of it out with my miter saw. But I have to be very careful so when I get to the end, I don't go cross into this air. So I have to stop at some point. Um, Basically, when I put this here, and I could only bring this out about this far, right? So it's not going to cut all the way through. but it's gonna give me a good starting point. I'm gonna get it started from there, then get it started from there. Then I'm gonna finish it with my handsaw cutting through the rest of it. So let me do this, and hopefully I don't screw it up, and we'll go from there. Okay, so if you can see, I stopped about an eighth of an inch from each corner, and I'm gonna finish that off with my handsaw. But before I do that, I'm gonna clamp this down so this doesn't move as I go and start cutting this out. So let me clamp this down tight, and then we're gonna start cutting it with the handsaw. All right, guys. So this is what the cut looks like. I know it doesn't look that pretty, but it's okay because the sink is going to cover the whole thing. The sink's actually going to be sticking out about maybe about an inch or so, and then all that surrounding of it is going to be silicone. So none of this little miscuts or little wavy cuts is not none of this is going to show anyways. Um, I just took my time. I could have used a jigsaw to cut this out. I just chose not to. I wanted to do it as clean as possible, but that's just me. Now we're gonna go and assemble the cabinet, and then uh, we're gonna basically put the cabinet in, put the sink in, and see how it fits, and then position the sink at its final destination. So let's do that. All right, guys. So you saw I just drilled this little hole right here. This is to pass this cable for for the lights underneath the cabinet. And I know you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, what the hell are you doing? Why are you passing the wire through the drywall and X, Y, and Z?" Well, uh, this whole area is going to be backsplash. It's going to be fully covered, so there's not going to be any paint or anything like that. So I'm just going to leave the wire here, and I'm hiding it from the junction box or the switch box. So basically, when the backsplash is installed, because we're doing an entire slab backsplash here. So this whole thing is going to be covered. So I'm not worried about the wire anymore. I just need this thick wire to be here, and it's going to get passed on through here, and that's all I need. And let me show you guys the switch box because I had to do some modification to the switch box too. So this is a 4-gang switch box. I had to put a fifth one in here, and as you can see, I had to cut the wall to make it a 5-gang. But here is where the transformer is going to go in. This is a 24 volt, 110 to 24 volt transformer, which is connected to the switch. So when I switch it on, you guys can see I already put some lights underneath the cabinet, and this is what the light's going to look like. And this is dimmable, like so. Um, this particular area is going to feed basically underneath the cabinet here. Is going to feed underneath the cabinet here and here. It's also going to, there's a cabinet going to go there. It's also going to feed underneath the island, the under cabinet lights, also under cabinet lights of this one. So it's going to feed a bunch of stuff. So it's not just going to feed the top cabinets, it's also going to feed the bottom cabinet. So this hole is going to be lit. So in order for me to do that, I had to run wires from here. There's also going to be a wire running down from here to light up this area, also light up that area. So the whole thing is going to be lit up because I don't want it to be not lit up. The only one that I'm going to have an issue is going to be the where the pantry is right there. I can't get to that area. That area is blocked off in my basement. I don't have a way to get to it. I'm trying to find a way to get to it, and I hope I find a way to get to it. If I do, guess what? I'm punching a hole, and that area is also going to get a light of its own. So if I can do that, it'll be fantastic. So I still haven't been able to find a hole that I could feed the wire through. So that's to be determined. Other than that, the wires are in, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do the with the pantry. They're all going to have um, these light bars right here. These are light bars, and they have switches up there that are going to be connected to the door. And I know you guys are going to see the wire is ugly. That's all going to be covered soon once I'm done with all the wiring. So this one I put switches on. This one has switches on, but I'm going to show you guys how it's going to work because all these drawers, they're all going to get their individual switches. Each drawer is going to have its own light. Let me show you guys right here. So these are already installed. The bars are already installed. These are the diffuser. The wires are already put in. This drawer is going to have electric outlet along with this is the trash can. So this is not going to have a light, but this is going to have a light. These all have been wired for lights. And yeah, so I have a lot of work to do. I just want to keep you guys updated of what's going on. I'm going to run some more wires and more wires and more wires, and now this is the wiring phase. This is the time consuming part, but as soon as I run all the wires, I'm done. I don't have to do anything anymore, and hopefully it will be easy for me to get everything done and finished. The island, it's already been screwed in, it's not moving anymore. This is it. The rest of the bottom cabinets, I'm gonna finish the sink. Once I put the sink in, I just had to do the wiring before I put the sink in. Now the wiring, that extra wiring is done, I could put the sink in. Oh, and one more thing. um, this is the blind cabinet right here. And as you can see, if you saw my previous episode of how I installed a sliding platform for pots and pans, this will also get a sliding platform which is going to slide over, and over here is going to have another platform that's going to slide out. It's going to look so cool when I'm done with it. I'm going to show you guys what it's going to look like. But I already made a video on this, so I'm not going to make another video on how to make these slide out platforms, I should say. But once I'm done with this one, you're gonna see what it's gonna look like. It's gonna look so cool. So let me go finish that, then I'll be right back. All right, guys. So the sink cabinet, it's done, and I just have to put it in. So let me show you guys what I did. When you guys doing a farmhouse thing, you do have to put braces on the cabinet itself, so that way the sink doesn't basically fall into the cabinet. It's not just gonna be held up by the lip. It's gonna need some braces here as well to hold the cabinet, to hold the sink in place. Now, this is I think it's called uh, fire clay. Basically, they're very, very heavy. So this is a 30-inch farmhouse sink and 10-inch, basically from here to here is 10 inches. So as I mentioned earlier, I made this 10 inches and an eighth just to give it enough room right here for, to put silicone when we are sealing it in. So this is going to sit here, there's going to be a gap, and then the countertop is going to come over the sink just a tad bit. So now what I need to do is, my house is a mess. Um, what I'm going to do is I am going to remove these faucets, shut off the water, remove the faucets, and basically slide the cabinet in. This is usually you have the pipes coming in from here, but this one's coming in from the bottom, from the basement up. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to basically put this through because there's a electric wire here. This is for the garbage disposal that's coming from next to the drain. And then I'm gonna have to basically bore this drain out so I could put new piping in here. And whoever did this, I mean, there's not much room to play with here. So hopefully my measurements are correct and everything would fit. If not, then I have to keep the water shut off until I make the correction. Hopefully the correction is not going to be that bad. So let me shut off the water. Let me remove these and then come back and put the sink in. So let's do it. Measurements are good, um, but you see, there's a gap here. There's a drop here. It's because of this cabinet sits high. So all these cabinets right here, they need to be shimmed up so they can match the level of this. So it's about a quarter inch drop in here. So I gotta raise this up about a quarter inch. So I'm gonna put shims underneath the cabinet, make sure everything is leveled before I screw everything in. So that's the only thing left. But let me show you guys how everything fits. Uh, the drain pipe, the uh, actual water pipes are coming up. I thought I had to cut these down, but I don't. The trick part will be when I put the garbage disposal here. That will be the only tricky part. But before I do anything, uh, I'm gonna put the faucets back up. Make sure they're not leaking, and then basically level this up. Make sure everything's leveled before I screw it into the wall. So let me do that, and I'm gonna level it. I'm gonna put shims and all that stuff underneath the cabinet. Make sure everything's tidied up. Then screw this in. So let's do it. All right, guys. So one thing you want to make sure is you want to make sure that your countertop is leveled. Basically, you want all these edges to be straight because when you put the countertop on it, you want to make sure nothing is uneven, nothing is crooked because that will cause the countertop to crack over time, or when they're installing it, it will crack it because it doesn't have even support all around. And another thing, guys, if you guys don't have these, the Blaco cabinet tool, these are freaking amazing. These have been so helpful with me putting these cabinets on, just to line these up, make sure everything's flush. Um, they're so easy to use, um, so easy to use, and basically it makes everything easy to put together. So it's super helpful to have this. This way, you're not fighting with the cabinet. You basically squeezing everything in place. You screwing it in, and I'm using these deck screws, um, which are the GRK fasteners. These are they're called finish white trim head screws. These are also used for it says treated lumber approved, but these are used for deck screws. These are great. As you can see, uh, minimal damage to the cabinet, or like it shows very minimal. Um, and also, you don't have to keep doing counter sinking the area that you want to put the screws in. Prevents from cracking. But one tip, guys, I should give you: um, pre-drill the holes before you put the screws in. Once you pre-drill the holes, it's a lot easier that goes in. It prevents any cracking or anything else after that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish leveling all the cabinets, get everything screwed in, tighten up, because this is the last part. And once I have this done, then they can come and measure for countertops, so they can come and install the countertops. And while that's being done, I could finish the lighting and I start doing the floorings and all that stuff. So um, I'm gonna do that. Then we'll be right back. I still have to put the last cabinet here. Um, I'm running a little issue for the top piece. They don't have anything that small, so I have to basically custom make it. And then we have another issue with the um, uh, whatever, these corner cabinets, they don't have one that fits that size, that top. So also I also have to cut one of the top cabinets to size so I can make it fit there. Um, and the problem is this. I already drilled. I already screwed this in. This has already been fastened. The problem is if I take this off now, I was gonna move it out a little bit because the door doesn't fit up there. The door. This is the door. This is too long. I was told that they had a. I was told they had a smaller cabinet that could fit up there, but they don't. So we are in a predicament at this point. But there's nothing that cannot be fixed. We'll figure out eventually what we're gonna do. I may have to get another hidden cabinet, a corner cabinet that doesn't have the holes in it anymore. So I will reach out to my vendor, see if they could exchange this one with a different one. We'll see. We'll see how that's gonna work out. But I'm gonna show you guys once everything is installed. I'm gonna show you guys how everything is gonna be looking. So let's do it.
I'm trying to get it. I'm getting it. Excuse me.
In the video.
Oh my god, man.
How much off do you want it to be?
Baba, now can I have ice cream?
Maybe a little bit more.
Baba, can I have ice cream now? Baba, now can I have ice cream? Stop asking! Baba, I just said. Can I have ice cream now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we try a little bit more?
Like it. Ow.
This is too big.
No, just fill it with silicone.
What do you mean? Oh no. It's too small and too big.
Maybe it needs to come out.
Oh, now it's just
Yeah,
my
because
fingerprints
you
all
want,
over it.
what happens is,
Yeah, I think that this
all these gaps. Because as soon as you push it in, it starts getting narrow.
So it's gonna be this much counter space behind it.
That. Metal. Mental.
Say it's supposed to have that big of a gap.
Bubba. Mother. Bubba,
Maybe
it's
it's
stuck.
coming that way, huh?
Bubba, I can't get it out. I can.
Yeah, I'd rather have the gaps less on this side.
First step. Here's my bubba.
It's all gonna get filled up.
Second.
I'm going to show you guys how to install a farmhouse sink garbage disposal. Now the garbage disposal, most of the garbage disposal are universal. This is a fire clay farmhouse sink that we have installed. Let me show you guys. We're still in process of finishing our kitchen, but I want to use my old garbage disposal and install it on the farmhouse sink. But the problem is the farmhouse sink doesn't come with the garbage disposal attachment. It comes with its own drain system, so you just basically you can install it and hook up the drain to it. But what we need for this, it's a quick lock sink mount, which means this thing renders unusable. So we no longer can use this and I'm kind of sad because I really like this, but because I want the garbage disposal to be installed, I need to use this quick lock. And these are super easy to install, they're not that hard. There's 3 screws on the bottom. You open this up. This is the top piece that goes onto the sink. Now we're going to try to see if this actually fits, because this has a little groove right here, like so. I don't know if the seals on this actually fit this, but I have to see. So we're going to try and see if this actually fits, and we'll go from there. Alright, so you need a Phillips screwdriver to basically unscrew the bottom of this, because this is how you kind of make everything tight. So once you do this, there is an O-ring that you have to remove. So we're going to loosen this up as much as we can. And this O-ring is basically what keeps everything intact. So we have to remove this. So you just do that and it should just pop out. And this should just pop out. This should pop out. This goes underneath. Now we're gonna have to, now this is a cardboard seal, which I'm not gonna use, but we just wanna do a test fit. It fits, it's great. I'm gonna take the gaskets from the old one because it is not a cardboard gasket. And I don't want a cardboard gasket because that's basically asking for disaster. So as you can see, this comes with a little foam type of gasket. So we're going to place this in here, and then we're going to kind of put this in here. And what's going to go in next is this one, this part. But I'm also going to put this gasket like this underneath, so we have good penetration all around. So let me do that first, and then I'm going to show you guys how it works. Alright, so yeah, we have to put this here. So I am going to install this gasket here. And you want this above the O-ring. Part right there. Now here's the thing, you want to unscrew this all the way down like so. Apparently there's not much space to play with on this. So now we're gonna place this here like so. Then hopefully this can fit here. And we are running to our first issue. Hopefully if I could make this O-ring fit. This is where the hard part is, guys. The fitment of the O-ring. This is not coming down deep enough, and it's sort of concerning at this point. So I just placed the garbage disposal over this, so kind of I don't have to play with the other one so much, so I can actually be able to squeeze this O-ring in. Alright, so problem is this is not long enough. Now I gotta order a specialized one that's a little bit longer than this to be able to basically fit, make sure I could fit the o-ring over it. No matter how much I try, I don't have enough room for the o-ring to go back in its place. There's just not enough material here. So because the sink, it's a thicker model, I'm gonna ask for a second hand. I'm gonna ask my wife to hold down the drain. Maybe I could squeeze the o-ring in. So let's do that. All right, we have success. We just needed a second hand, and my wife came and rescued me on this. You can see her hand, her fingers. There you go. Could you also hand me the screwdriver? Thank you. So screwdriver was handed down. So we're gonna tighten this little by little. Obviously you don't want to make it too tight because you risk cracking the farmhouse sink or any other sink that you are using. You want to just do hand tight. As soon as you see a good amount of restriction on the screw, you will stop, and that's it. Then comes the garbage disposal, and this one's easy because this is basically you twist this on one way or another. This is gonna be the end of me as we know it, because nothing is easy in my life at this point. Problem number 2. The garbage disposal head does not fit this, and I read the measurements of this and it was supposed to match with this, but it does not. So we have to go back to the drawing board, which means I gotta look up the Badger half horsepower garbage disposal that I have and find the exact sink connector for this in order for me to be able to connect it to the garbage disposal. So I bought this from Home Depot, so this is gonna go back because it did not fit my application. So that's a bummer, but hey, life does not go on if you don't have problems, right? So this is one of the problems. So let me figure out this situation, then we'll come back and finish installing. Stay tuned. Alright, I'm gonna show you guys something. So when we installing these garbage disposal attachments, as you saw, I didn't have enough space here to put this in. So this part was sitting way too close to this, causing these screws to sit out. But if those screws are not sitting out, as you can see, this will fit on there ever so tightly, and then I could screw in the garbage disposal. But the problem I'm having is the screws, because the screws stick out too far out. I don't have enough clearance for this to sit tightly around the locking mechanism. So I do need a longer piece. So I'm gonna go online and try to see if I can find the longer piece. Once I find the longer piece, we're gonna come back and reinstall. So let's do it. All right, guys. So the sink issue, I think, is solved. What I had to do is get a different flange, which this is a lot a bit longer than the one that I bought from the store. As you can see, it is longer than what I needed. Also, it's black, so it's gonna match the faucets and everything else that we're gonna be using. So I'm gonna use the gasket on this one, push it down, place this down here, and put the hardware on it from the bottom, which I'm gonna need my wife's help to hold this down as I install this. So let's do it. All right, this is as tight as it's gonna get. It's actually is not moving. It's pretty tight. Now, as we put the garbage disposal in, this should just easily lock into place because, as you remember, we had the issue of the um, the screws interfering with the whole thing. So here we go, and that's it. Check on all sides, and voila, garbage disposal is installed. I don't have the wiring in. I just wanted to do this as a demonstration part. So this actually sits here pretty tight. All the gaskets are in. Everything fits. All right. So the only issue was the kit that you buy from the store comes with a short stack, and this is because it's connecting to the stainless steel sink, and those are pretty thin. When you are doing fire clay, it is thicker. So as you can see, the whole thing is going to be as thick as this, actually as thick as this. So you will need a new flange for it to actually sit there and give you the longer area for you to basically install all the hardware. The reason this didn't work because this was short. So overall, not bad. It was an easy process. It's not that hard. It just you just have to find the right parts that will fit the need. So I'll leave the link in the description of all the materials I used. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit like, and leave your comments down below. Hey guys, today is the day we are getting our countertops. So this whole process of the kitchen renovation took me about a month from fully destruction, taking everything out, putting the flooring in, putting the cabinets in. Cabinet assembly took me about a week because I was just doing it when I had time. So I got the cabinets built before I installed them. So let me give you guys a quick run through on what the kitchen looks like right now without the countertops. The countertops are due to come in today from our friends Apex Countertops and Cabinetry. So let me show you guys what we're working with today. So look at this. This is a 9.5-foot island. Now this island originally started as a 7-foot island, but we had some issues with that Mr. Cabinet right there where I have the air duct return and the flue for the HVAC system and the water heater system. So we had to compromise. So we added the cabinets here, made this longer. It actually kind of makes the kitchen look a lot bigger than what it used to be. So quick things. I'm going to show you guys what I've done so far. As you can see, all the cabinets are in. The new appliances are in. These are the Samsung uh, uh, I forgot the trim. These are the ones with the glass front, I guess. So we got the new appliances in, kind of matches the whole decor. This is the pantry that I had to modify to fit, retrofit everything, all the ductwork I had to do. I had to make this bigger so the ductwork can fit here because the previous ductwork was not sufficient enough, so there's not enough airflow. So I made it bigger so there'll be enough airflow so the unit is not kind of killing itself. Um, Almost all the cabinets here will have light system of some sort. There's under cabinet lighting like so. They are hooked up to the switch, they dim. um, this switch is hooked up to all the under cabinet lights. Some of them I haven't put in yet, but there's going to be under cabinets here, Here, there's going to be under cabinets there, there, all the way going there, except where the dishwasher is. There's going to be all the way under the island, along with the pantries next to the fridge. So, but I also took a step away. When you open it, each pantry is going to have its own lighting, and they all have switches. So each door will open to its own light. So, this way you don't have to open only one door to have all the lights come on, a specific one. So each door you open is going to have its own light. So, you could close this, light turns off, and so on and so forth. Now, the drawer system, as well as the cabinets, have a light system I put in. I know it might be an overkill, but there's a light bar here, and it does have a switch right down here. So when the electricity is not hooked up to this, but theory is hopefully all the wirings are done correctly. When you open the drawer, the light will come on, so it illuminate the drawer. Now each drawer has its own light bar, so all the drawers here will have its own light bar, uh, except this one. This does not have a light bar. This has an electric outlet. As you guys saw in my bathroom renovation, I did the same thing, drag chain, and everything works perfectly. But these all have lights. These have lights. Even when you open the door, we'll have lights there. And there's going to be this whole wall is going to be a stone that's going to be going in there. And as you can see, I ran the wires through the wall because this all going to get covered. So backsplash is going to cover this whole area, which I'm not going to worry about the holes. I'm not going to patch any of them because I don't need to. So yeah, I'm waiting for the installers to show up. They should be here within probably another 30 minutes or so. So as soon as they show up, we're going to start filming. We're going to show you guys the installation, and we're going to show you guys how the island and the whole kitchen is going to look at the end. Oh, so we are excited. We're tired of not having a kitchen. It's been a month being without a kitchen, and it sucks because we don't have a sink. Everything's being done outside. Look at this. Look at my setup outside. That's my sink. It's a utility sink from a laundry room, and I set up a tent, and it is raining outside. So I did set up a tent for the installers that are coming in today because it's raining. My garage is a mess. I don't have room for them to work in the garage, and I honestly don't want them to work in the garage. I'd rather have them do all the grinding and everything in the driveway. So you can see, I set up a tent right there. So as soon as they show up, they could set up shop there. I'll give them electricity, whatever they need to start doing their job. So, anyways, let's do this, guys. Let's wait for these guys to show up, and I'm gonna show you guys what the end looks like. Stay tuned. All right, guys, the grand crew is here. They're gonna start installing the countertops. So they're gonna do some modification at site, basically drilling holes and things that need to be did for the faucet or the electric outlets and all that. So they're gonna do that on site. They won't do it at the shop because they need to do exact measurements. So we're gonna set up the camera. We're gonna have these guys do their thing. They're gonna bring in piece by piece, so everything fits in. Then once everything's in, they're gonna put the caulking in and basically finish the whole thing. So I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna set up the camera. I'm gonna have these guys do their thing because I don't want to continuously be in their way, filming and all that, because they don't want anybody in their way, pretty much. So let's do this, guys. Let's get this kitchen done so we can see the end result. All right, guys. I'm gonna basically how he's gonna fill that seam where there is a seam right here. where the two stones meet. So he's gonna actually try to fill it up, basically make it as invisible as possible. It doesn't even exist because usually because this is quartz, it's a manufactured material. So I'm gonna show you guys how it's done. It's actually pretty cool if you see it. This is where the seam is right now.
I'm gonna fix it.
So he's gonna fill this up and he's gonna do his magic basically. Definitely is a it's a skill set. So what is it that you're using?
Epoxy.
Oh, so quartz it's actually epoxy. So technically, uh, he's gonna fill it up with some epoxy, and then he's gonna do a color match. Basically, he's gonna add some color to it, uh, and basically try to make it match the countertop. And you're not gonna need a lot of color because those are very dense colors, and as soon as you start mixing, you're gonna see how far you're gonna have to add different colors to it to match it to what you need. So guys, he's actually just using small drops of the color. And I think it's brown color to basically darken the epoxy a little bit just to match the beige uh, reflection of the countertop. That's the epoxy mix right there. Next thing he's gonna add, that's basically the part B of the epoxy. This is what makes it basically harden. It's a hardener mix that you add to the epoxy. All right, guys. So he had to separate the stone so he could actually put the epoxy in. He had to do color match, as you saw. So now he's gonna put the epoxy in, and then he's gonna squeeze the stone together. So this way makes it basically a one piece. He's gonna sandwich the whole thing together. So this is a vacuum clamping system. It works on a vacuum. It sucks this basically creates a suction on the stone, and these little black knobs that he was turning basically brings the two stones together so they could bond together. Once the epoxy dries up and it cures, um, he'll take these off. But it takes probably about an hour. How long does it take usually? Yeah.
5-10 minutes.
Oh, 5-10 minutes. I was wrong. Not even an hour. So this is a fast drying epoxy. So about 5-10 minutes, the epoxy should be cured, and he'll take the pumps off, and that will basically keep the stone. And what he's doing is basically making an adjustment, making sure the stone is flush. Um, those are adjustment parts. Those knobs moves the stone up and down. So he's going over a razor blade, making sure there is no uh, dip or anything like that, or nothing gets tangled. So make it look like or make it a smooth surface. All right, the epoxy has set. Now he's gonna take off the suction clamps, and once he does that, what he's gonna do, he's gonna go over where he applied the epoxy glue, which is somewhere around here. and he's gonna scrape this off, and then he's gonna go over it again with a matching color epoxy. So basically, makes it look like a one-piece stone versus a two-piece stone. They do this with granite as well, but granite has almost similar process, but the color matching on the granite is a little bit more difficult. White is difficult as well. Um, so he's gonna clean up the surface, remove any extra epoxy that's there, and then he's gonna go over it with a color matching epoxy. So a fairly quick process. And as you can see, you don't see any of the paper towel getting stuck or getting dragged or anything, because what he did with those suction clamps leveled it out completely with the razor, and he went over it with the razor, make sure everything's level. So now you see it as one piece stone. This way it doesn't have any seams or anything like that. So now he's gonna clean it up good, then go over it one more time, and then he's gonna do the color match portion after he's done cleaning it. There's a gap between the backsplash and the stone. What he's doing is actually putting shims in there, moving the countertop up. Because this is quartz, it's epoxy, so it is a bit flexible. So it gives us room to make these type of adjustments. If it was granite, different story. Granite is not as giving as quartz is. So you see the seam right there? That's going to get filled up with caulking, so you're not going to see that. Then there's another piece that should be going there. Um, Other than that, everything looks where it's supposed to be. All right, guys, this is the big piece. That's the island. So that's next. This is the one they're gonna take in. Um, and yeah, and this one is where it's gonna cover over the window, but it is gonna be in two pieces because how fragile it was gonna be. They couldn't make it into one piece. That had to be in two pieces. So um, it's gonna go on piece by piece. All right, guys. So one issue with the island at this point. So the countertop is about an eighth of an inch short. Not here on the other side. Let me show you guys. Um, so you can see it's about an eighth of an inch short. So how do we solve this problem? All right, guys. So the countertops are mostly in. Most of the countertops went in. This is the dining room area. All the parts are in. And remember, I told you guys about the island. Uh, it's cut too short, and what's going to happen is we're going to get a replacement top. Because we can't go any further in, it will interfere with the doors, with the drawers, and all that stuff. So they are gonna put a order for a newer top that's up to spec. Um, Human error, you know, can't blame anybody. It just happens, not a problem. But it's gonna, they're gonna replace it. We're gonna get a new one. Um, so that just sets it back for maybe a week, which is not a big deal. I mean, I got other stuff to do anyways to finish up whatever that's left. But yeah. So once the new island top comes, we're gonna wrap everything up, and we're gonna show you guys what the kitchen looks like. Hey guys, the kitchen is finally finished. Holy crap, it took so long. But we reached the finish line, and the finish line was, as you saw, was the little door above that cabinet, which I had to modify to make it look authentic. And it really does blend in very well. The color matching, everything was great. So everything worked out perfectly. Apex came through with the cabinets, the countertop. They did all the installation for the countertops. It was fantastic. They did a great job. Now I'm gonna run through some of the stuff that I had to fully customize with this kitchen that would have cost me an arm and a leg. I'm gonna give you a scenario where I had a company come out and give me a quote for the kitchen. The kitchen was supposed to cost $68,000. That's right. The company shows up and tells me the average cost of a remodel of a kitchen is about 10% of the value of the house, give or take, right? But it's a big scam. I can't say it's a big scam, but it's a huge, huge markup on everything that they're trying to deliver, and that doesn't include appliances. So I did all the work myself. I put everything together myself except the countertops. The countertops were installed by Apex themselves. So I bought the cabinets from them. I assembled the cabinets, installed the cabinets, and they came and did the countertops for me. Finished the countertops, as you guys saw in the video. They did the countertop installation, but everything else was done by me, by myself, to include the flooring of the kitchen. Overall cost of the cabinets and the countertops. Now, every kitchen is going to be different. My cost to include the bathroom that I finished, okay, that includes the cabinets in the bathroom, the countertops in the bathroom, the kitchen countertops, 2 half bath countertops, vanity, everything that I did to this kitchen. The material cost to include the countertop and installation for me was about $25,000. Now, some of you guys can say that's a lot of money, but for the amount of work that went into it, I would say it's about $20,000 worth of labor if you have somebody else do it. Okay, not $40,000. I would say 20,000, not 40. This is my calculation. The markup is insane in the area we live in because people pay. That's just generally the cost. So enough of that. Let me give you guys a tour of the kitchen. Okay, I'm so happy. My wife's extremely happy about this. Now, one thing I did do with this kitchen, I used about 250 feet of wiring because I wanted lights everywhere. I just love lights for some reason. The first thing I'm going to show you guys the light that I installed is the under counter lights, which I put the switch here. It's dimmable, but that controls under cabinet all over the kitchen, the countertops, right? That's everywhere. So the whole kitchen got under cabinet lighting with the flick of the switch, like so. And then I did the ceiling lights. Now these ceiling lights are so cool, right? So now you have it on, you know, everything's on. There's another switch for that one, but look at this. Now you have ambient light. It's so cool. At nighttime, it comes out so nice. You switch between the two. These are automatic, quick on and off. It switches back and forth. So that was another one. Now, the best feature of the lighting that I did. Almost every drawer in this kitchen has a light bar. Every drawer on the island has a light bar except this one. This one doesn't have one because this is where the knives are, but it has an electric outlet there. And this one has an electric outlet there. This is my junk drawer where all the junk goes in. All the cabinets here, every single cabinet here has a light. This cabinet has a light. The drawers have lights. All the drawers got light except a few that I decided not to put lights in. Now, the biggest project was this contraption right here, this pantry, okay? So everybody's like, oh, it's a pantry, you know, you're gonna put stuff in there, but then you open it, what the hell? It's blocked off. Why is it blocked off? So, what happened was there is a flue for exhaust and my HVAC return is here. Initially, I was gonna take this, there was gonna be a cabinet there, a wall cabinet, but then I realized that I can't take the exhaust flue off unless I spend a bunch of money that I didn't want to spend. So we sacrificed half of the pantry. So I custom built this box that goes around this whole area. So I custom made that there, and it's basically covering up the whole flue and everything. Of course, by code, because there has to be a certain distance between the flue and all that stuff. And the HVAC box, it's back there. So as you can see, there's a small box that I made. So that whole area is done. So we basically have very small amount of shelf space here. And the air fryer. Now, you guys are gonna say, oh, air fryer, you can't put it in a box because it pushes out heat. Well, yes, it does. But if you look closer, right there, I have an exhaust. I made an exhaust that pushes out the air, the hot air into the dead area back there. So all the hot air goes in the back area right there. It's not hot enough for it to burn anything up or cause any fire or anything like that. So I made sure everything's safe, so I don't want the house to burn down. But then we have these pantries, these large 30-inch by 8-foot pantries, okay? Now these are massive. Of course, they all have lights, and each door has its own independent switch, so you don't turn on all the lights. Another thing I did, I custom made these shelves. These pantries come with a fixed shelf, so you can't pull them out or anything like that, but I custom made these shelves, and this top one is super heavy with all these cans. But look at, handles perfectly, no problem. It can handle the weight, and most importantly, soft close. So these these railings I got from Apex because I wanted to have access to the back of the drawer without reaching out and breaking things, right? Or making things fall. So these three at the bottom, they all have slidable drawers, pull-out drawers, or you could call it. And same thing with this pantry. It has three pull-out shelves. The top portion of it, I did not put any slide out because we don't need it. I can't slide this out and reach over. So the top part did not get any slide out. The spice rack, the brand new appliances. These are the Samsung Bespoke. The big feature is this around the window backsplash. So Apex had never done one before. So my house was the first house for them to actually try this out, and they did a fantastic job for this around the window backsplash. So as you can see, the whole kitchen has the same backsplash as the countertop. This is a quartz countertop. This is a 9-foot by 53-inch single slab, jumbo slab they call it, countertop. So as you saw, the first one, it was a 1/4 inch short, and it has a waterfall feature. So they had to take it back and get a new one, get it cut to make sure it's perfectly measured. Now, another thing that we did was on this side of the house, this was our dining room right here, but we decided to move the dining room to a different room, and we did the same thing. We put the cabinets here. Unfortunately, I didn't put any lights on this one because it's not really used that often, but an upper cabinet and a lower cabinet with a waterfall feature as well, backsplash as quartz, same as quartz. All this quartz cutting board. So as you can see, the kitchen came out fantastic. Now, it took me about to do the last finishing touches. The kitchen was functional a month and a half in after I started the demo. There was a lot of delays because of the countertop. There were some delays because of design changes. I had to make some design changes right in the middle of the construction. The island was supposed to be a 7-foot island, ended up being a 7-foot island, ended up being a 9.5-foot island. So it went a lot bigger, and the reason was because this pantry was supposed to be we're supposed to have a cabinet at the bottom, then wall cabinets. There was a 9-inch cabinet here that I had to take out because then I wasn't able to open these drawers or the doors. That was miscalculation on my end. So I had to put a filler there. Then we just kept adding to the island. So every extra cabinet that we had got added to the island. So luckily the island didn't end up in the middle of the living room because I kept, changing the design. But the kitchen came out very clean, very nice. I changed all the baseboards to 6-inch baseboards, and I changed all the trims. I put flat trims all around the house. These are the zebra curtains that we got. As you guys saw, we had one in our bathroom. Everything is done, guys. Everything is done. I put 2 benches here for the kids. They can sit and eat the cereal. We don't have an overhang. I don't want an overhang. I don't really like the overhangs. It just takes, I don't know. It's not my style. But this is the whole kitchen. Let me show you guys from an angle so you guys can see the whole thing. The Bespoke feature with the white front panels adds a lot of character to the kitchen itself. It looks beautiful, and one thing I think I already mentioned this. That door, that's a fake door. It doesn't open. I had to make that door because they don't make small 9-inch by 12 for that area. So there was a lot of custom things that I had to do. Mainly was the wiring for the cabinets, the doors that I had to make them smaller. What else? Pretty much that's it, guys. I mean, again, it's a lot of work. If you want to do it, it's not hard at all. It just takes a lot of patience. You need to have patience for this kind of stuff. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. But if you can pull it off, hey, more power to it. It's doable. You just need to have patience. Patience is virtue, and the end result, it's impeccable. That's my take on it. This is why I made this channel, so everybody can have an opportunity to actually try something on their own. And if you fail, then you could potentially fix the problem. So other than that, let me know what you think, guys. Hit up our friends Apex at Chantilly. They do kitchen countertops. They also do installation, so it's not just, they don't just sell cabinets. They do the whole thing for you if you need to get it done. And I will leave the contact information at the bottom of in the description section. I will also link everything that I bought from Amazon or whatever in the description for you guys, if you guys want the same things. But the most important thing is hit the like button, guys, leave the comments, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Subscribe, it's free. It'll help me out to grow the channel as much as I can, to basically bring in as much as DIY stuff that I do. Some of the things I can't show in detail because they just take so long to do, and I don't want to make the videos 3 hours long just to show a small projects that I'm doing. But I'm doing my best to give you guys enough content and enough information on the materials that I use, the way I did it, and things like that. So let me know what you think, guys. Leave your comments down below and hit that subscribe button. Peace out.